Welcome to the LA Confidential Podcast. I'm Christopher Elliott here with the boys, Aiden and Aaron.
Hey there. How's it going?
We are in Phuket, Thailand today, and we will talk about Phuket in our next podcast. But this week we're talking about Laos. We were in Luang, Prabang, which is the most populous city in Laos, a place that most Americans cannot even find on the map. And I have to admit, I'm one of those people. I couldn't find it on a map until we saw it on a map. But let's have a look actually at where that is. It is actually between Thailand and Vietnam and Cambodia.
Yeah.
And then on the north, if you look here, you can see
China.
that's China.
It's Yunnan.
And then Myanmar.
We don't talk about our exes.
Yeah, well, anyway, it was an absolutely fascinating experience, and we will talk about all that. But first, our question of the week. And this question actually comes from an experience that we had not just while we were in Laos, but also when we were in Bangkok, which is some air quality issues. You know, we didn't feel very well. At certain times of the day, they actually like to burn things like rice stalks and trash, and you don't feel very good. So our question of the week is, where have you felt the best in your travels, like your most healthiest? And Aiden, I wanted to ask you, where have you felt like really healthy?
Well, that's very difficult to answer. Honestly, it might be Nice. The Niçois food.
Oh, yes.
I'd eat
yes.
every day. I'd go over to the patisserie.
Boulangerie.
The boulangerie. No, see, patisserie,
Yes.
that's for sweets. The boulangerie. I'd get myself some
Yes.
pain d'olive, some pain fromage.
So the food makes you feel good.
Walk around the streets.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And the air quality there is pretty good, especially compared to Paris.
Well, please leave your answers in the comments, and we will read your comments in the next podcast.
Yes.
And we'll add our 2 cents as we always do. But Luang Prabang, we stayed at a property called the Avani, right in the center of town, Luang Prabang. And it's recently built, but it's made to look like it's been there for a very long time.
It has kind of that colonial architecture
French
style.
colonial.
French
Yeah.
colonial,
Yeah.
yes, and with good reason, because the French were there and they colonized.
French Indochina.
They have such a fascinating and rich history. There's no way we can go into it in just one podcast, but if you're a history buff, this place has got a lot of history. In fact, the United States government has had its hand in Laos politics too.
No. It's
Laotian
been
politics.
an interesting relationship.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
a lot of temples that have been restored using U.S. money.
Right, and that's the good part, but the bad part is, the CIA was running some operations there during the war. You know, the whole movie Air America, that's all about that. But this is actually, here's a nice picture of that Aiden took of just downtown Luang Prabang. It really shows you the scene that you see. It's a lot of motorcycles but pretty orderly. There's actually no traffic lights there.
That one was Aaron, the one below.
Oh,
was me.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, yes. Okay, so this one here is a typical scene. Everyone's on a motorcycle there, and they do not use helmets.
Yeah. And so you see, even the moms with their kids. So this is a mom with his kid, and mom with her kid, and neither of them are wearing helmets.
Are you
not expected.
going to make a confession here about?
Well, I
this,
don't know. She kind of looks like it.
Okay. So the interesting thing about Luang Prabang is there are no stoplights at all. It's kind of got a small town vibe, but everything is very, very organized. It's a little bit like Japan in the sense that everything moves in an orderly way.
It's orderly chaos.
Orderly chaos, yes.
Yeah.
Not like Bali where everything is nuts.
Pure chaos.
Pure chaos, yes. Or other Southeast Asian cities. We had a chance to take a cruise down the Mekong River, which is the main river that goes through Luang Prabang. And
This
it
one
was
me.
gorgeous.
This one was me.
Okay, this is your photo. Tell us about this photo.
Well, it's just one of the houses on the hills.
Yeah.
Got the nice blue sky.
This is the other side here of
I
of
might
the
the
river.
reds pop a little extra in post, but those are the royal what is
Poincianas.
it? The royal poincianas.
Poinciana, yes.
And you
Also
can
called flame trees.
Yeah, you can also see some more of the boats that people
Little boats.
will do the little cruises on. They all look very similar. And then this one below.
Yeah, at sunset.
Yes.
It gets really beautiful. The colors get so nice.
That one I also did. That one's a cropped one to show just him and the trees, but above him is the sky. And this is how a lot of the fishermen look when they're out and about doing their job. And,
You're going for catfish.
Yeah, and they all wear the same hat, so that's not a stereotype. That's actually what they wear.
It's catfish and carp that they're fishing for. Really beautiful scene. And we had this cruise that we were on. They were serving us drinks to match the red from the Poinciana trees.
That's another one that I took of you. So that's you enjoying your little beverage
from a flattering angle. Thank you so much.
2 shots of. Sorry, whatever.
I was not drinking.
No.
Yes.
I tried beer Lao on the cruise. Beer Lao is their local beer. They advertise it everywhere. Actually, we can also get another photo. We can add it to here. I took some pictures of giant crates of beer Lao.
Oh yes,
they're very proud of it. I'm not a beer person. I'm old enough to drink beer in Southeast Asia now. I'm 20, right? Of all the beers I've tried, I've only tried either really sweet American beers. You know, this, oh hey, you know, the uncle comes up to you, oh hey, take a swig of this, and you know, take a swig. Oh, it's so sweet.
Which
and
uncle?
Then, yeah, like I mean, I won't. Don't
want to get anyone in trouble.
Yeah. But and then the other ones are the German beers, because you can drink that a lot. You know, you can be 15, drink them. Well, actually, you can be like 12. They'll just say, hey, have some beer. But you can drink the whole one there. That's their culture. And those ones are super duper bitter. Even the ones that we
it's an acquired taste. That's true. That's
the ones we had in Tokyo that were 0% alcohol, even those ones were bitter. The beer Lao, very subdued, not sweet, not bitter, very good.
That's the beer aficionado.
Yeah, I wanted to have more. He didn't let me. So.
You're an adult. You're an adult. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to mispronounce this. Kwangze waterfalls. Aaron, we went to probably the most beautiful waterfalls in the world, easily. We've been to a lot of waterfalls. But these waterfalls are about an hour and a half outside of Luang Prabang. Tell us about the waterfalls.
So Kwangsi waterfalls are roughly 29 kilometers south of Luang Prabang, and it's a 60-meter drop, or 200 feet, from the top of the waterfall to the bottom. It's just a really beautiful waterfall.
Spectacular.
In the past, there used to be some villages in the top of the falls and the bottom of the falls, and they don't live there anymore. So now it's just sort of a tourism destination. It's pristine nature, and it's actually being returned to nature.
Yeah, it's a national park, but also people can swim in these pools. And that water, we did not do any enhancements on that water. That is the actual color of the water.
I did a slight. I just slightly increased the blue saturation.
It does look like that.
But I wanted to do it to make it look more like it did in person. So that is how it looked to our eyes in person.
You see, the thing is, these waterfalls are this beautiful turquoise blue, and I think the rock type is a limestone, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And so that's what gives it, and it just looks very clean. It's very different from the Mekong and other rivers in Southeast Asia, which are quite muddy.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
This one was taken by you or Aaron, I think.
No, Aaron took that one. The interesting thing about the waterfalls is that there was a bear habitat there where they were rescuing bears. And I never realized this, but bears are actually farmed. They have these bears, and they harvest their bile.
Yeah. The interesting part about that is apparently medicinally, and this comes from him.
Just Chinese traditional medicine.
Chinese traditional medicine actually can help with kidney stones. It actually is even it's not as effective as like ultrasound or anything like that, but it actually does have a benefit. But same time, you're doing surgery on bears.
Thank you, Dr. Elliott.
Die. What's the point?
They're rescuing these bears because the bears are kept in very inhumane conditions.
Yes.
And please don't buy bear bile.
Yeah, don't.
It's like buying
illegal.
It's like
ivory.
buying ivory. Yeah. Don't buy bear bile because the way that they're. So they rescue these bears and then they put them in.
Something interesting about this photo is when we walked up the stairs to see the habitat, we did not realize how close they were going to be. This picture is taken. They're literally like 5, 10
I've
feet
never
away
been
from
that
you,
close to bear.
without a cage between you, and they're very well behaved. And I didn't even fully zoom in on the camera. That's just a picture from my point of view, right next to the bears, and they are incredibly beautiful.
There is a buffalo farm right outside the waterfalls where people are actually raising water buffalo and milking them and making cheese and ice cream.
More accurate would be a buffalo dairy. That's what it's called.
Buffalo dairy.
Laos buffalo dairy.
Right.
And they use the dairy from buffalo. They figured out how to use that dairy in order to make a variety of dairy products like cheese. I think they were making mozzarella. They were making desserts.
And they were making ice cream. How was the ice cream?
There's a picture of the ice cream that I have that we can put in here if we decide to put it in later. But I tried their salted caramel ice cream. Very good. The main difference is not flavor-wise. They also gave me a cappuccino, and I was able to tell that it was using, because I didn't fully realize that it was using the buffalo milk until they told me, but then I had some more, and I was like, okay, there's actually a different texture. It's not taste, it's texture. So when I tried the salted caramel ice cream, I was like, this tastes like ice cream, but the texture's a little bit different. Cappuccino, again, a little different, has more of a mouthfeel. It's a little bit thicker. So
yeah, look at this girl here. She's one of their big producers. She is the cutest thing, and these are very docile and friendly water buffaloes. They're not like the water buffaloes in Africa that kill people.
No. Yeah.
Here's one calf that you were actually. I think this was
That's
milking.
Aaron took the picture. Yeah.
We were.
I'm not calling Aaron a buffalo. I'm saying Aaron took the picture.
We were giving them. These are calves. We were giving them milk.
Yeah.
They're so cute. But the nice thing, and I'm actually doing a story about this, is that these water buffalo are being raised for the benefit of the community, and they're creating a nonprofit to help people actually raise these buffalo and make money off the cheese and the milk, which is, I think, a really great thing.
Basically what they're doing is they're taking people's buffaloes and they're saying, while for a certain period of time we'll take care of the buffalo, we'll milk it, and we'll also artificially inseminate it so that way its kids grow up to be
Aaron. Family-friendly podcast.
So that way it has stronger babies, and that increases the wealth and fortune of several
Plug
many
your
Laos
kids'
families.
ears for this
And
segment.
and the reason that they're doing this is that most of the buffalo roam free, and so they're exposed to a lot of different dangers, and sometimes they don't make it. So they're creating kind of a better place for the water buffalo.
Yep.
And they're also raising bunny rabbits.
Little bunny rabbits.
Oh, they're so cute.
And funny enough, we went up to these cute little bunny rabbits. This is a picture that I took of one of them. And we went up to these bunny rabbits.
Actually mine.
Oh, that's yours?
Yes.
Oh, just similar.
All right, guys, it's okay.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
You're both really good photographers.
We went up to one of these pictures. We went up to one of these bunnies. Okay, and we were like petting them. They're so cute. Oh, these bunnies are so cute. And the lady who was giving us the tour came up to us. She was like, "Oh yeah, they're so cute, aren't they?" That one really likes when you pet them. And it's like, "Yeah, those are so cute." They're great sources of protein. It's like, "Oh God, you killed and eat these."
Yes, they don't actually.
I feel horrible now.
They don't
These
kill
things
them.
are so cute. You kill it and eat them.
No.
Well, we don't kill them. We give it to them, and they kill them.
Yes,
So,
Well, I have to say this because the whole buffalo dairy operation, it seems like it's one thing, but really it's an educational opportunity for various families and people in the community to learn about more modern farming techniques. So, for example, they teach people how to use natural resources to take care of pigs, and also to take care of rabbits and a variety of other animals. I believe that's all. Is this pigs, buffalo, and rabbits?
They have cats too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
no,
I have
no,
plenty of pictures of the cats.
no. Not like
You
that.
can show
No.
the cats.
Laos is still a developing country, and there are a lot of political issues that we're not talking about in this podcast, but it is a communist country, a little bit difficult to get into. Getting a visa can be a bit tricky. However, it is definitely worth a visit. And one of the highlights of our tour was going to the National Museum, which is where they talk about all the things that have happened in the recent past, and especially during the more turbulent times during the Vietnam War and World War II. It is also a beautiful place. This is actually the Royal Palace here, and there are temples and exhibits and things like that. We really can't get into all of it because there's so much to talk about. But I wanted to ask you guys about your impressions. What did you think about Laos itself? Would you go back? What did you think? Who should go to a place like Laos?
I think there's a lot of things going for the country. Yeah, there's a lot to come in the future. It's developing.
It is, yes.
And pretty quickly. And with the projects like the buffalo farm for milking the buffaloes. That's going to be a much bigger tourist attraction in the future, I think.
I think you're right.
Because a lot of people go there for that reason, and that goes into, the type of person that I'd recommend goes there if you're really into
like an adventure seeker.
Adventure seeker, but also into sustainability, into like nature. I definitely go there. Take a look at the museum and all the temples. Sure. Those are really cool. One interesting thing about the museum that we talked about earlier that's really funny is that the order of the gifts that they show in the museum is based on whether they're communist or
the diplomatic gifts.
A capitalist.
Okay.
And you'll go through the museum, it'll show all the gifts, and at the very, very end is the American gift.
That's the moon rock, right?
You give them the moon rock. I mean, geez, guys, come on, you're putting this at the end. Yeah. But if you're kind of apolitical, you don't care too much about their political situation, it's really nice because it's not all in your face like certain countries might be, like maybe Singapore, with the surveillance state.
Okay, look, this is a place where the hammer and sickle is being flown unironically.
Yes, but the people don't mention it to you.
No,
you see little Che Guevaras everywhere.
Yes, they're soft communists.
It's very soft communism. So I'd mostly go if you don't care about it being a communist nation and you're really there for the sustainability or the nature aspect, and you're like temples.
Temples everywhere.
Yeah, they got plenty of temples.
Because the Mekong River, beautiful, the cruises, beautiful, and it's really cheap, and there's good service there. So I definitely go for it.
Yeah. Aaron, thoughts?
Well, I think that this is a destination that has a lot more developing to do. Personally, I thought that, there's a lot of culture, and that's really what everyone goes there for, is culture. You want to see the temples, you want to see the history, and you also want to try new food, because surprisingly, Lao food is very different from Thai food, even though the language is similar and they're right next to each other. Also, it's just a wonderful landscape. If you go there, you have hills. Yeah. It's really beautiful. But there are certain things that I just can't look past personally, like the air quality. I can't do it. In the afternoon, it gets really, really thick. But I think if you're interested in history and you want to be in a beautiful place, it's go there. It's because you're going to get that.
Well, I will say for the price range, it's so cheap that it might be worth it to deal with
Laos
those problems.
is actually one of the most inexpensive destinations
in the world.
Yeah. It may be the most inexpensive destination.
It's a backpacker paradise.
It is lots of hostels.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, if you go this time of year, it's very hot. It is, the high temperature is 100 and some degrees Celsius, 101, 102. And then when you add the humidity to it and you add the smoke, it's so pretty freaking unbearable on the day.
That the tourist seasons are entirely based off of whether it's winter or not.
Yeah.
The tourist season is winter there. That's how hot it gets.
But I would say the humidity.
Rain too.
The humidity is not as bad as it is in Thailand. Because I can tell the humidity is bad when I go outside, my lenses start fogging up.
Oh yeah, and the camera lens too.
No, I didn't do that. That didn't happen in Laos.
I'd like to just say I like Laos. I would go back to Laos. I really enjoyed staying at the Avani. The hospitality was great over there. People really took good care of us. I would recommend staying at a hotel if you go to Laos. They might have some really good guest houses there. We didn't visit any of them. But I would stay away from kind of the more budget accommodations. You want to have a place where you can, maybe where credit cards are accepted. They don't accept credit cards in most of the places. And where you know that you're going to get a good quality accommodations.
Yeah.
And so a place like Avani will have that.
Yeah.
In our last podcast, we asked the question of the week, which was, what is the one holiday that you would never travel on? And
Sam writes, I just learned not to travel to a conservative Muslim country during the month of Ramadan. I'd been in liberal Abu Dhabi for 3 months, but did a solo trip to Doha for the entire month of March, which was the month of Ramadan. Muslims fast, no eating or drinking from dawn to dusk during Ramadan. So every cafe, coffee shop, food court, and restaurant was closed until 6 p.m. The only place to get food was the grocery store. I went there every morning to have food for the day in my hotel room. Even non-Muslims cannot drink or eat in public during Ramadan.
That was the Carrefour that you went to right there. We know that really well. I was actually talking to someone who handled tourism for Qatar And she was saying the same thing. I was talking to her today. She said, yeah, Ramadan is pretty strict. Now, we've been to other places like Malaysia, for example. You and I were there, where during Ramadan, it's anything goes as long as you're not Muslim. You can go and eat at the restaurants.
Also, the reason why you can't eat out in public is because it'll make people hungry and they get really annoyed. Like, I have friends who, during Ramadan, because they're Muslim,
they don't want you to talk about food.
No talking about food.
Yeah.
No eating on our video call. Just keep the food to yourself.
Yeah, right.
Even though I'm 8 hours ahead of you, dude. We're in different time zones. It doesn't even make any sense. This would happen either way. Okay, let's get one of these comments here. Okay. Courtney writes, the only holiday marked on my calendar to definitely avoid is Golden Week. Well, Courtney, we were in Tokyo during Golden Week.
Yes, we were.
I do try to avoid France in August when locals also are on vacation. And I always check local or national holidays before we book anything. You can get some pretty bad surprises. As for US holidays, if you fly on the actual holiday, say Christmas, it's not so bad.
Wow, you were using your announcer voice for that one.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Hi.
I'm trying to get into radio.
Oh yeah, well, you've got a voice.
Everyone keeps saying I have a face
You
for
have
radio.
a face for radio. Yes, yeah.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Well, we were in Japan during Golden Week and we survived.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that? Yeah, it was not
It
so
was
bad.
fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah.
There
bad.
wasn't much of a big deal.
No, well, we lived in a residential.
Nothing was closed. Yeah, 7-Elevens. See, now you know it's a disaster when the 7-Elevens start closing.
Yes.
In the
They
South,
were not. They didn't close.
in the American South, they have a system to define how bad a natural disaster is based off of whether the Waffle Houses are closed. It's called the Waffle House scale. It is a real thing.
Wow.
And if the Waffle Houses are at a reduced menu because of shortages of whatever items, that means you know it was bad. And if they fully close, that means all out panic. You guys got to leave the area.
It's the end of the world.
And in Japan, I'm willing to bet they have a similar system, or they should develop a similar system. But I also sometimes I might think in my head, maybe that's not a good system because I know that the Japanese would stay working at their 7-Eleven job during a magnitude 9
they would.
earthquake.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe maybe don't listen to that, at least for them.
Thank you so much for joining us for the LA Confidential podcast. Please don't forget to answer our question of the week, which is...
Where have you felt the healthiest in your travels? Let us know where you felt the healthiest, because I can tell you that there are plenty of places where we have not felt healthy.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe you want to talk about where you felt the least healthy. Let us know in the comments and we'll read them next week.
Thanks for joining us. We will be back at you next week from not Thailand, but we will be talking about Thailand because we'll have a whole week's of experiences to discuss with you. Thanks for watching.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Yes, bye.
Até mais.
Yeah.